I'm Greg Casar. I'm proud to be chair of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, and today we're here to say with one voice, fire Elon Musk. An unelected, unaccountable billionaire now has seemingly unlimited powers over Americans' private data and over Americans' taxpayer dollars. It seems every hour brings more news about a new threat Elon Musk poses to working people, a new way that Elon Musk wants to take your hard-earned money and keep it for himself. Just yesterday, Musk threatened to go after Medicare and Medicaid. Just yesterday, we also learned that Head Start programs serving 20,000 young students are locked out of their federal funding by Elon Musk. To be clear, that means that you have a billionaire, the richest person on earth, willing to take away your health care, willing to take away kids' lunches and meals, willing to take away pre-K, just so that he can finance a tax break for himself and his billionaire buddies. And just last night, Elon Musk came out and we found out that he's interfering with air traffic control. When Musk took over Twitter, he repeatedly crashed that platform. It's not a big deal if your app doesn't load one day, but it is a huge deal if you don't know if your plane is going to crash or not. If we don't fight back, Elon Musk will take dollars away from our public schools, away from our healthcare, away from Social Security, away from our own safety systems, and use those dollars to line his own pockets. We are here fighting for a country that is by and for the people, not by and for the ultra rich. That is the core of the fight. And while this is, of course, an event being held by the Congressional Progressive Caucus, whether you are progressive, whether you are conservative, whether you are liberal, independent, no matter your political party or your background, I think this is a fight where all Americans can agree that your elected representatives should be representing you. Your government shouldn't be run as a corrupt grift mill for a billionaire. This is a national emergency. In the aftermath of the election, many Democrats needed time to soul search, to grieve, to think, but that time has ended. And that time ended when Elon Musk took control of our country's financial nuclear codes. It's time for all of us to get off the mat and get back in the ring. We're going to fight smarter. We are going to fight harder, and CPC is going to lead that charge. Our members have been fighting outside of the Treasury Department, outside the Department of Labor, at USAID. We are in our communities, in the halls of Congress, fighting back. As I said in my first press conference as chair here, our members know how to fight the billionaires, the grifters, and the Republican frauds in Congress. That's what this moment calls for. And people have been asking us, what can you do? What will you do? Well, I'll tell you right now, we are going to use every legislative, judicial, and public pressure tool at our disposal as members of Congress until we fire Elon Musk. My entire time in Congress, I've never seen Republicans be able to pass a budget. They can never get that together. And they always come crawling to Democrats for help. Well, we are not going to help Republicans keep Elon Musk stealing our taxpayer dollars. We are not going to help those Republicans that want to keep Elon Musk in charge of the entire federal government. We are not going to help Republicans allow Elon Musk to break the law, shred our Constitution, while he makes billions of dollars in wealth for himself. Elon Musk spent $270 million to get Donald Trump elected president, and he's increased $160 billion of his own wealth since that election. We are not going to, I for one, and I think many of us here, are not going to just stand by and hand over our votes if that continues. We are going to fight to fire Elon Musk, or at a minimum, anybody in this country, anybody in Congress should at least agree that he shouldn't be given unconstitutional powers to enrich himself with our taxpayer money. So remember that during Donald Trump's last term, Americans came together. They rose up in every single district in this country and saved the Affordable Care Act. Republicans had control of the government, but Democrats stood united Democrats went and gave our message out into the community responded and rose up, and millions of people's health care was saved. Similarly, the Congressional Progressive Caucus is going to lead alongside leaders in this country to fire Elon Musk, to save our health care, save our schools, save our taxpayer dollars, stop the corruption, and I think this is a fight that we can pick and that we can win. Thank you all so much for coming today, and next we have the whip of the Congressional Progressive Caucus, Congressman Chuy Garcia.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman, and good morning to all. I'm Congressman Chuy Garcia from Illinois' 4th District in Chicagoland, and I'm here to say that Elon Musk has got to go. The richest man on the planet is engaging in an illegal power grab across our government. This is how he turned Twitter on its head, taking control of people, information, money, and buildings. Let's not forget, this is the same guy who retaliated against unionized janitors at Twitter facilities for demanding simply better wages and working conditions. We are here to tell working families that we will not allow Musk to have access to your Social Security numbers, to push out civil service workers, or to launch an all-out assault against government agencies. These moves are illegal, and we're working with civil rights groups who are suing Doge for these actions. Elon Musk is not fooling us. He has an ulterior motive for going against these agencies. He's trying to hide the abuses he's committed within his own companies. So there's a personal vendetta side to all of this. And he's been a bad boss, and not just at Twitter, but also at SpaceX. Workers have filed complaints, and he's got several lawsuits for the terrible working conditions, including denying mandated rest periods and overtime threats to organize. That's why he's targeting the Department of Labor, and he wants to conceal and obstruct the National Labor Relations Board's investigations. Then there's Tesla. Musk has 7 complaints under the NLRB for unfair labor practices that affect more than 140,000 employees. And it's the NLRB investigations. If they're not enough, Musk is also on the hook with OSHA and for the death of a Tesla factory worker in Austin, Texas. The record is clear. Elon Musk is anti-worker and anti-labor. We will not allow the shadow government that Musk is leading to destroy government agencies that protect workers. Elon Musk, we've got a message for you. You will be fired. People across all the states and capitals throughout the country are rising up and saying that we cannot have an unelected, someone who has not been vetted, someone who has not taken an oath to protect the interests of the people of the United States. Thank you very much. Next, I'd like to introduce Representative McIver.
Thank you so much, Whip. My name is LaMonica McIver. I represent New Jersey's 10th Congressional District. Thank you to our chair and our whip for the comments. And I'm here to simply say that Elon Musk, you're fired. I went to the Treasury Department on Tuesday and joined with hundreds of other Americans and many of my colleagues here because an unelected billionaire gained access to Social Security numbers, bank account information, and personal data of millions of Americans. We went there to perform our oversight duties, which we are expected to do as members of Congress. We were elected to do this, but they turned us away. Let me be clear. Unelected billionaires like Elon Musk have no place in our government. He is trying to puppet master Trump's decisions about everything: women's bodies, immigrants' futures, our kids' education, government funding, on and on and on. And he absolutely should not have access to the Social Security and tax information of millions of Americans. But he does. And the entire Republican trifecta is letting him get away with this. It's despicable. If you are angry, you should be. But there is so much power with the people. Everyone should call Republican electeds, hold them accountable to the harm they're causing. I know my colleagues and I will keep showing up, keep hitting the streets, and keep fighting. We will keep putting pressure and doing the congressional oversight we were elected to do. We will fight back against Trump's billionaire tax cuts, and I will keep calling on my Senate colleagues to hold the line and block Trump's dangerous cabinet nominees. Nobody elected Elon Musk to be president, but he has his grimy hands all over our administration. But we will keep the pressure on, and we will not allow this Musk takeover. This fight is far from over, but the Progressive Caucus has our gloves on, and we are in the ring. Thank you. Now I would like to call Rep. Dexter.
Good morning, and thank you to the Congresswoman as well as our leaders for their words and their encouragement for our action today. I am Maxine Dexter. I represent Oregon's 3rd Congressional District. All week, like many of my colleagues, I've heard from thousands of constituents who are outraged that an unelected billionaire is unilaterally dismantling our government. In the last week alone, Elon Musk has seized control of the U.S. Department of Treasury's payment system, exposing Americans' most personal financial information, has shuttered the U.S. Agency for International Aid, USAID, putting the lives of millions of people at risk across the world, and threatened the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, undermining our work to combat the climate crisis. This is just the start. I received, again, over 1,000 emails and calls this week demanding action. And that's why I introduced my first bill, the Stop Musk Act, to protect federal workers who are at the forefront of Elon Musk's power grab.
Yeah, that's great.
This bill is in direct response to what I'm hearing from my constituents, a demand for action. My bill prohibits retaliation of any kind against any federal employee who resists, prevents, or circumvents illegal or unconstitutional efforts led by Elon Musk or those he oversees. This is one of many tactics we are deploying. This multi-front battle will be fought in the courts, the halls of Congress, and the public sphere. In addition to our legislative and judicial tactics, our most powerful tool is public pressure. We are witnessing an assault on our democracy, make no mistake, and the Congressional Progressive Caucus will fight at every opportunity. We must stay loud, we must stay tight, we must press on. And with that, I will pass it to Congresswoman Velasquez.
Good morning, and thank you, Chairman Casar, for bringing all of us together. The press might say, here they come again, you know, blah, 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 blah. But let me tell you and let me remind you, those dark days when we were fighting to preserve ACA or even pass the legislation, and we kept at it, organizing, mobilizing, until the public rise up and push back. And today, millions of Americans have access to decent health care because of the actions that we took. And we are here back again. And we will be at this every single day. Press conferences, protests, until the American people rise up and push back. This is a power grab by Donald Trump and Elon Musk. And every American should be concerned about this. You see, what really frustrates me? That the Speaker of the House doesn't have the courage to stand up and defend the integrity of the legislative branch. Well, I am not going to go silently without fighting and to say and to remind that this is not only unethical, it's illegal, and it is unconstitutional. And we will fight back every single day. But I also want to talk to the American people. Do you trust Elon Musk with your most personal financial information tax records, your social security numbers, your financial security. I don't trust Elon Musk with this information, and I know the American people don't either. I also don't trust Elon Musk with access of the payment system that controls upwards of $5 trillion in transactions every day. Yesterday, we held a hearing in the Small Business Committee, and when I questioned Elon Musk trying to get into the system, they claimed that he needed to do this. First, that he was appointed by the president as a senior advisor, that he will go in to assess and analyze waste, fraud, and abuse. But today, the New York Times have an article in which they discuss emails from the chief of staff that clearly stated the intent of just using this to stop aid to USAID funding. So this is the system that sends out Social Security checks, Medicare reimbursement, and tax reform, the foundation of financial security for millions of Americans. This is a hostile takeover of our federal system. We cannot allow the richest man in the world to have the power to veto funding approved by Congress so he can line up his pocket with more tax cuts for billionaires. This government does not belong to billionaires. It belongs to the people. What Trump and Musk are doing is unconstitutional. We demand Elon Musk to be removed from any role at the Treasury Department and from the federal government entirely. We are committed to using every tool at our disposal to stop this power grab. And with that, I will recognize now the chairman, the ranking member, soon to be chairman of the Natural Resources Committee, Representative Hoffman.
Thank you, Nydia. Well, thank you, folks, and good morning. Happy to join my colleagues here in pushing back against Elon Musk and his fake officials, his tech bros that are rummaging through our most sensitive data without authority in violation of the law. And I'm so pleased that we're beginning to litigate and confront this in the courts, that there's this great public awakening that's happening and the outrage is building. And here in Congress, my colleagues and I stand ready to do our part to say no to this outrageous attack on our democracy and our personal rights. So we learned this week that Elon and his tech bros, these young people in hoodies who don't have security clearances, they're fake officials, that they crashed through the doors of the National Oceanic and Atmospheric Administration, or NOAA. These are folks whose mantra in the private sector is go fast and break things. And they decided to go fast and break things this week at NOAA. And so, people need to understand that this is an agency that does really important work that millions of Americans depend on every day, although they don't always realize how much they depend on it. It is the home of critical scientific and regulatory systems that protect our safety in important ways. And this starts to make good on yet another aspect of Project 2025, something that I spent much of last year warning about. Trump has promised, his Project 2025 agenda was very explicit about this, to dismantle and privatize NOAA, forcing Americans to pay for things like weather data and also some of the maritime safety data that NOAA maintains. This could have real consequences for the day-to-day lives of every American. The National Weather Service warns communities of incoming severe weather like hurricanes and wildfires and tornadoes. It provides information to emergency managers, decision makers to support our nation's commerce. NOAA's weather forecasts are used by aviation experts to prevent airline disasters, to keep our skies safe for millions of travelers that crisscross the country every day. And cuts to these programs and agencies, make no mistake, will put people in danger. Privatization schemes for this agency will put people in danger. This is not some kind of game. It isn't a stunt to drain the swamp. Purging the government of scientists, experts, and career civil servants, slashing fundamental programs, these things will cost lives. So I also want to make something else clear. Democrats are not going to stand for this. Right now, we are working on every front that we can. I was just at a briefing with Democracy Forward, talking about the different ways they're confronting this stuff in the courts. It's a little bit of whack-a-mole because, you know, every day Elon and his tech bros ride their skateboards over to a new agency and start crashing into their databases. And, you know, sometimes we know about it in time for Democracy Forward or attorney generals or others to go to court and to enjoin it. But other times, compliant officials at these agencies just hand them the keys and they gain access in really disturbing ways. So we're not going to stand for it. We're going to work with the outside folks who are litigating. We're going to work with federal whistleblowers. And we got a briefing this morning about how each of our offices can receive information from whistleblowers, protect their confidentiality, and help use those important voices to shine a light on these violations of the law and these outrages. But standing together with my colleagues here in Congress to use the leverage that we do have in this closely divided House of Representatives to work closely with our allies in outside groups that are litigating, with states that are drawing the line against all of this in court and otherwise, and of course with all of Americans to mobilize public opinion. Through all of this, we are going to say to Elon Musk and his tech bros, enough is enough. Get out of our government. So with that, I believe I'm handing off to Glenn Ivey, aren't I? No?
I think you're handing it off to me.
I'm handing off to Greg.
And I think
All
we're
right.
going to answer
Top
questions.
of the order. Back to the top of the order.
Back to the top here.
Chairman first.
Yeah. Thank you all. I want to thank Congressman Ivey for being here, Congresswomen Rivas, Schakowsky, and Chu for joining us. I think we'll all be available for questions going forward from here. But just as a closing message, we are committed to a government by and for the people. Elon Musk and Donald Trump believe that you go out and work to make them rich. And House Republicans seem to believe that you pay your taxes so that Elon Musk and Donald Trump can also get rich. We know that that's deeply wrong. And if we harness our collective power, not just as a progressive caucus, but as Democrats, and then we put pressure on just a few Republicans to grow a spine, we can fire Elon Musk. Thank you all. We're ready to take some questions from you. Yeah, go ahead. And please state your name and the outlet, and then we may just defer it over to some of the folks you haven't heard speak yet.
Arthur Jones II at ABC News. Yesterday, you had some strong condemnation for the Trump administration using school vouchers to enrich billionaires like Elon Musk. Can you expound on that a little bit?
The House Republicans in the Education Committee are talking about taking dollars away from public schools and using that to make their private business friends money, because public schools it's hard to steal their money and get it for yourself. But if you shut down our nation's public schools and then have these voucher scams, you can send hundreds of millions of dollars in taxpayer money to private companies that then continue to donate to Republican campaigns. And so voters see through that grift. We're going to stand up for our public schools, because our public schools are not piggy banks for private corporations like Elon Musk's. I don't know if anybody else here wants to comment on vouchers.
Just that it's also about church-state separation. I mean, there's a grift.
Hey, go ahead.
There's absolutely a grift in this privatization of public education, but there's also a Christian nationalist agenda very much embedded in it. This has been something they've been gunning for a long, long time. It enables them to indoctrinate, to fuse their particular religion with our government in ways that would make our founders roll in their graves. So that's why I'm wearing the Build This Wall button today, the wall between church and state that Madison and Jefferson and our other founders thought we should have. But they are rolling in their grave today, because upstairs today we had a national prayer breakfast where our statuary hall was hijacked and turned into a church service where, amazingly, Donald Trump presided in weird and random ways, and we'll be burning sage for months because of that.
Go ahead.
Hey, Ryan with
Musk put out a statement yesterday saying that DOGE will make rapid safety upgrades to the air traffic control system. Do you have any thoughts on him getting involved in that space?
Elon Musk crashes and breaks everything he buys. He thinks he can buy our government. We cannot allow him to crash and break our air traffic control system. Look at what happened when he bought Twitter. It just started crashing. Again, not a big deal if your app doesn't open one day. It is a really big deal if Americans don't know whether or not their air safety is protected. So this is, again, another instance where Elon Musk thinks he knows better than everybody else in the world. In fact, he doesn't know anything about how to make sure air traffic control works. He doesn't know anything about how to make sure that our Social Security and Medicare and Medicaid payments get out to folks on time. He just knows that he wants to find a way to make money off of this at the expense of other people's safety. Anybody else on air traffic control? You want to say something?
Well, I'll just say this. You know, one of the things that's going to come up soon is Congressman Jerry Connolly and other Democrats are going to call for the committees, Republicans, to subpoena Elon Musk and have him come to Congress and actually testify about what he's doing and why he's doing it. So we'd love to have an opportunity to, test out what he knows about issues like that, what he's doing with the secret information that he's been getting, the conflict of interest issues. You know, he's going, as Congressman Garcia testified or discussed a minute ago, he's going through materials where he's got open cases filed against him in OSHA and others. What's he doing with that information? Donald Trump said he would make sure that there are no conflicts of interest, but I don't think we can really trust the conflict of interest chief in charge to take care of that. We don't want the fox to be guarding the hen house. We need to have him come up here and explain what he's doing, but ultimately he needs to go, and we need to do this the right and legal way with respect to managing the government.
Thank you, Mr. Ivey. Go ahead.
Thank you. Kyle Steer with NBC. You mentioned the subpoena. Can you talk about other action items you can take while in the minority to push back against Elon Musk?
There's many we could do. Yesterday, we did have a vote in the Oversight Committee to subpoena Elon Musk and have him come speak. And we only lost that vote by one vote. So we can make sure that if we lock arms as Democrats, and the Progressive Caucus is often at the forefront of making sure that we have Democratic unity on strong positions. If we lock arms as Democrats, we just need to pressure, in that case, just one Republican to have a spine and be willing to hear from Elon Musk. Republicans aren't really in a governing majority when it comes to the budget. And we have a government funding deadline coming up next month. I don't see many Democrats being willing to say, hey, we're going to pass a budget that is going to just funnel money to Elon Musk. Similarly, I know that Republicans are trying to pass their gigantic tax scam, their billionaire tax cut plan, but they can't seem to agree with each other on it. And so Democrats have a huge opportunity to not only tank this billionaire tax break for Elon Musk, we also have an opportunity to show the American people what it looks like to have the Elon Musks of the world actually pay their fair share in taxes. We could show the American people that we don't need to cut your Social Security. In fact, we can expand it. We can make sure that your payment grows. And so Elon Musk also presents an opportunity. In the past, billionaires would meddle with our government behind the scenes, but now Elon Musk is bragging about it in public. And so we have an opportunity to fire Elon Musk, to rally the country around a proposal that isn't necessarily progressive or conservative. It's the baseline idea that if you work hard and play by the rules, you shouldn't have a billionaire running your life and taking your money. And we've been talking about how Democrats need to win back the working class voters we've been losing. This is exactly the kind of thing that working people believe in, no matter their background, no matter if they're rural or urban, no matter what. I haven't seen what that quote is, and so I think what you're hearing clearly from us right here is that our message is very clear. Elon Musk shouldn't be allowed to steal your money. Elon Musk shouldn't be allowed to steal your data. Elon Musk should not be not only illegally shutting down services that benefit Americans, House Republicans should have the guts to say something about it. House Republicans shouldn't be enabling him to get another tax break. And that's our message and our language here today. Okay. Thank you all very much. We're available from anybody else that's got them. Thank you all.